Hey, Prime members, did you know that you could be listening to this episode and every episode of Funny 'Cause It's True ad-free on Amazon Music? That's right. Prime members get access to the largest catalog of ad-free top podcasts. To listen, download the Amazon Music app or visit amazon.com/FCIT. With Amazon Music, you get access to the most ad-free top podcasts. Avoid the ads and listen to your favorite podcasts ad-free with the Amazon Music app or by visiting amazon.com/FCIT. That's amazon.com/FCIT. If you struggle with anxiety or depression, let me start by saying you are not alone. Hers can help you find the support that you need. Through Hers, you can get access to real medical providers 100% online. The process is simple. No insurance, no doctor's appointments, no pharmacies, just mental health treatment. To get started, go to forhers.com/Elyse. That's forhers.com/ELYSE. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if a prescription is appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information.
Lemonada.
Okay, actually, can you just pretend that you're listening to a fully complete theme song here? I got really in my head, and I tried to make it perfect, and I couldn't. So this is going to be the theme song right here. Hello, and welcome to Funny 'Cause It's True. I'm Elyse Myers. This week, I'm talking to comedian, actor, and writer Holmes. Last year, they were on Vulture's list of comedians that you should and will know. Holmes also stars in Fox's Welcome to Flatch. I personally found them on the internet and was shocked at how similar we are. We both use comedy to talk about our mental health in our lives, and we both love to write, and we're also both chatting to our internet audiences like we're close friends. But Holmes and I are also super different. I love to tell uncomfortably honest stories about my life that are true, and it's really the only way that I know how to do that online. And for Holmes, they talk about their experiences through characters that are adjacent to the real them. I think it's just so cool that we can use the same tools in totally different ways, almost turning them into different tools. Comedy can be super healing and it can be wildly versatile, and that's why I love it so much. So, two things that are funny because they're true. Number one, I tried to get the tea on her new boo, and just don't come to me for gossip, because the moment somebody just even gives the hint of like, I don't really want to talk about it, I fold. I'm like, yeah, no, that's dumb. I didn't want to hear about it anyways, so that's fine. And number two, Holmes used to work at an escape room, which I literally could not think of any worse way you could torture me. All right, let's get into it. The first video I ever saw of yours, you were in the car like you always are, but it was your sister's graduation party that you ruined.
I was going to the bathroom and all of a sudden someone walks in on me. Okay, I happen to be itching my vagina really hard. Okay, and yeah, do I wish that he walked in while I was peeing instead? Of course. It was horrifying for him to walk in mid-itch.
And like, I went home and showed Jonas that video and I could not stop laughing. And Jonas was like, it's like you telling a story, but like completely unhinged.
From 28 years, it's been itchy down there. I don't know why. I don't know when. Then my sister starts sobbing. You always make it about your itchy fucking cooch. That's not true, Isabel. I didn't even get a grad party because mom and dad weren't doing well in their marriage.
Yeah. And it just made me laugh so hard because, like, that was like, he was like, if you really said, you know, like where your brain went in those moments, I think that would be you. And I just thought that was really, really funny.
Thank you so much. Well, that's, for me, I think improv saved my life literally because I feel so comfortable being a character, even if it's like a subtle character that just is like me, but I know it's not me.
Okay, but even with those characters, all your content is improvised, right?
All my content is improvised, yes.
Okay, I'm like
Yes.
the total opposite end of the spectrum in every way in this. I think it's so wild that Holmes will just like turn her camera on and start talking and improvise her whole way through. I'm telling like actual real life stories about my life and I can't do that. I have this like deep insecurity that like I'm going to remember a detail of my life incorrectly. And then someone that experienced it with me is going to hear it and be like, that's not how it happened. And then they're going to believe that everything I say has been a lie from here until eternity. And I'm also good like one time. And I need that time to be on paper so I can replicate it over and over and over again.
You're like, it's weird. I don't like you right now.
No.
You're like, we're like not vibing.
No, we are so similar, and it's so wild because I'm like, this is like what I could do. Like, you're like giving me so much hope right now. Like, now you're starring in a TV show. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Like, so Welcome to Flatch, that was my second audition I've ever had. I was just an improviser in Chicago. I just did long form improv, and I was just posting on Twitter, and then I got this audition because Paul Feig's assistant saw one of my videos. I knew I was good at improv, but like I had never taken acting class. Like, I didn't go to school for this. I just really had such bad imposter syndrome. And I think that you kind of realize I'm always going to feel sick at the top of most things, and it's just going to take a while to not feel sick.
I was wondering what that was like because, so for people that don't know, Welcome to Flatch is like a mockumentary style kind of show, right? And
yeah,
I was wondering, because you have such a great background with improv, how much of that was improv, what the audition process was like for a show like this? Because it's not like you have to look like you're not acting kind of a thing. What did that look like?
Yeah, so the audition process was like, we're doing the lines that are written, you know? And then it's like, oh, I'll do some takes with the lines that are written, and then I'll try to sprinkle in different things. And definitely different actors have different amounts that they feel comfortable doing that. But I feel more comfortable in that space than with acting even. But yeah, the audition process, we all had to improvise scenes in our characters.
Was it intimidating when, like, because this opportunity came out of nowhere, right? Were you wanting this, or was it more just like you wanted to be stand-up comedian performer and this kind of happened?
I know this was actually my dream, but I just wouldn't say that out loud.
Got it.
And I think that, well, it's so funny, which you definitely understand, is like, because what was your dream? Because you blew up on the internet. Like, what was your dream?
I was a web developer. I had nothing to do with this space at all.
So for me, like, yeah, I really... online actually gives me a ton of anxiety. And like, I really only added the Twitter to, like, I was doing improv every night for 3 years at that point. And I would do stand up like once a month. And then I added Twitter to my plate because people in a green room before a show were like, I try to tweet once a day. And I was like, oh, I don't even have that app. And so then I was like, okay, I'll try to do that. So I like got it. And then I just started making these little videos. And then so fast, I like got attention on there, and I got to then have agents and like a manager for the stuff that I actually cared about, which was like live performance. And I definitely didn't ever imagine that how I would be able to get a job or get noticed for art would be through really giving so much of myself to the internet. And so you're someone who's so amazing at it. And so it's like nice to meet other people who seem like grounded and cool and to do it. It gives me a lot of anxiety, but I have so much gratitude for it because it's the only reason that I was seen.
For me, like I only know creating in this like vacuum by myself to my phone, and then just like releasing it into the world. And maybe it'll be seen and maybe it won't. Like, I don't know a world in which like I am showing up to a set and like filming something from somebody else's vision and brain, and I'm like acting it out. Like, it just
I'm sure you'd be amazing.
Well, the thing is, I love like the improv aspect of it too. So that's why I'm so drawn to like your work. I wanted to know like why, because you said earlier that you were afraid to say that you wanted to act on TV or like just act in general like this. Like, why do you think that you were afraid to say that?
I think definitely just anxiety generalized, but I also think like I super care about like the anti-fat bias, and I think that like our society is extremely fat phobic, and I really, really am super passionate about learning about that. I think it's so amazing that we finally talk about how it's an oppression. So I feel annoying because I'm not fat and I didn't grow up fat, but I grew up chubby. I think that definitely had to do with it, was that like women when I grew up, which has even changed a little by now, were so much more recognized for appearance versus their brain. And I think that I knew that what was special about me was my brain, and that wasn't what was being taken seriously. Like it really took me really being like, I think I'm funny. I'm going to go to Chicago and do this, because really even like some of the comedy troupes and stuff, it would just be like all girls that they wanted to fuck. You know what I mean? Like, and that's not the girls' faults at all. So I think that it's just one of those things of the industry I grew up watching, which is like rom coms and like, you know, mockumentaries, all the things I loved. did not appreciate what I looked like. That's something I actually love about Paul Feig, because he's actually one of the only people in the entire industry that I've met that really cares about that and actually thinks about it.
We got to take a quick break, but when we come back, Holmes and I talk about creating content in the Midwest. Every plate is just next level creative with some of these recipes. I mean, caramelized onion burgers with Dijon aioli and potato wedges, sweet and spicy ponzu pork meatballs with roasted broccoli and buttery rice. These meals are so indulgent and delicious that you'd never believe that Every Plate is 25% cheaper than grocery shopping. Every Plate can help you get more bang for your buck with 25 tasty and affordable recipes to choose from each week. Plus, you also have your choice of 22 sides, snacks, desserts, and more. Better yet, Every Plate offsets 100% of their carbon footprint to your door, and their meals have a 31% lower carbon footprint on average than supermarket meals of the same portion. What surprised me the most about Every Plate is how quickly the meals come together. Not only am I saving a ton of time by not waiting in line at the grocery store, but I'm usually done preparing dinner and ready to eat in under 30 minutes. Plus, I always have leftovers, which are the best part of cooking, let's be honest. Get started with Every Plate for just $1.49 per meal by going to everyplate.com/podcast and entering code Elyse149. That's everyplate.com/podcast and code Elyse149. When you're working on reducing your anxiety or depression, it can be so overwhelming just trying to figure out where to begin. My advice? Don't tackle it alone. There are people who can help you take a step back and assess your options, then find the best one for you. Hers offers access to mental health care that can support you in your day-to-day, including dealing with anxiety and depression. At forhers.com, you can get access to real medical providers who can prescribe trusted mental health medication if it's right for you. The process is 100% online, including free unlimited check-ins, provider messaging, and support along the way. Plus, to make things even simpler, you can get your first month of treatment for just $25 if prescribed. To get started, go to forhers.com/Elyse. That's forhers.com/ELYSE. Hers has helped empower so many people to find the best treatment for themselves, putting it back in your hands. Get started today at forhers.com/Elyse. That's forhers.com/ELYSE. Offer only available if prescribed. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if a prescription is appropriate. Subscription required. Additional restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information. I'm curious because you said, I think that I saw that you're writing. Are you writing rom-coms right now, or are you in the process of writing?
Yes, my dream is to make a bunch of rom-coms that are actually have people who look like people I love, flirt like people I love. Romantic media has always been my favorite media, but it's just always been pretty bad. Of course, there's exceptions. And I think they really affect us. They stick with us so much. And yeah. I think when you show a fat person always being the joke, if someone kisses them, then fat people think that it's a joke to kiss them. And so I can't wait to make rom-coms where fat people fall in love, because they are all the time and they're really hot and cool, just like us. And I think that, so I'm doing that, but right now I actually am working on a show, sort of like a broad city in Kansas City though. And it's with my friend Caleb Heron, and I'm developing it right now. I can't say a bunch of details, but we're working with Jax Media right now, and I'm really excited because I really, really want to make more things that are in the Midwest, because I just felt like growing up, I didn't even know that I was queer. I found out when I was 23, even though the signs were there. But
the call's coming from inside the house.
Yeah. It's so funny. I look back and I'm like, why was Amber calling me late at night from the softball team? And I'm like, she knew before me. But it's one of those things where, growing up with queer stuff, everything you kind of had to go to New York or LA media really seemed like that. So me and Caleb are really excited to make more stuff that is just funny with friends and normal TV that is in the Midwest. Kansas City, where I'm at right now, has such a It's such a beautiful city. So is Omaha, and there's actually such cool scenes. Like growing up in Omaha, the music scene was amazing. Like we'd always go downtown to like see the Faint and Jenny Lewis, and like because it was like all Saddle Creek records, you know.
I do not know Omaha like you do. I need to learn all the things. I'm like, there's so much more to do here than I even knew.
Oh my gosh, Omaha has an amazing. I don't know what it's like now because I didn't live there, but when I grew up, like the music scene was super cool downtown because of Saddle Creek records. So like Jenny, like Connor Oberst, all these people like came up in Omaha.
I think that's so powerful. I think that I have had a lot of opportunity to see kind of where we wanted to go as like a family of like to move and stuff. And every time I come back to it, I'm like, I just want to create opportunity in the Midwest. I think that like, why are we not utilizing all of the creativity within like the entire US?
Yes.
Like, why is it just on the coast, you know? And so if that means we stay here and just build it out here and have people come and visit us, like, I think that's really a powerful thing, like to give people in the middle of the country.
It's so powerful. And I think it's like being in a place where you're not stressed about money is so important for creativity.
Oh, yeah.
That's why I'm so glad I came up in Chicago instead of New York or LA, like, because my friends there who all did amazing things, I just would talk to them and they would be like, I do think they would take opportunities that were maybe not aligned with their creativity always, but because they needed money. And it's like in Chicago, my rent was always like $500. And I, was able to work a job and then do improv for free every single night. And I think that in Kansas City and in Omaha, you're able to be more creative in a way that's true to yourself, I think sometimes because you don't have to think about like, what will I be paid to do?
So when I was all starting this, I connected with Leslie Jones and I asked her like, what's one piece of advice that you would give somebody starting? And she's like, you don't make decisions out of a desperate place. Don't move until you have so much money overflowing that it doesn't even matter whether your rent increases or not. Or like when a brand deal comes in or when an opportunity comes in that like on paper makes like all the sense in the world. If it's not like right for you, then don't take it. You know what I mean? Because you don't need it. And then it allows you to do what you actually love doing and want to do and are good at. And you can get that opportunity later if you need it. And it also, I think, builds trust with the people that love you and follow you and want to get to know you. Like it creates less barriers for people when they know that you're making content out of a place of like creativity and like inspiration and not just out of necessity. You just connect with it differently.
I 1000% agree. And I like when I found out you were in Nebraska, like I love it so much. And I think things like genuinely like how you have such a beautiful voice and how you make music, like things like that would be less likely to come out when you have that sort of pressure, you know?
Oh yeah. Especially like, yeah, it's saturated in other places too. I did want to ask because I really wanted to know if there was anything from your life, like when you look back as you're writing, like is there one moment where you're like, I would turn that into a rom-com? Like did anything like that happen?
Oh my God.
I love the laugh. This is good.
For a while when I was improvising at night, I worked at an escape room, and it's sort of in a similar way where like I really want to do a mockumentary that's in an escape room and have a romance there because I love watching characters have to be themselves and then play another character. So like the escape room I worked at, we all had to be agents, spies, okay? So we'd have like real life drama, but then someone would come in and I'd be like, I'm Agent Shark and I can't wait to get you started. Like, it was just like...
Did you ever fall in love in an escape room or while working at an escape room?
Okay, this is actually good. So I fell in love with someone when I was doing improv, and it was so funny because it was my first girl, my first woman, like falling in love. Because like I literally would be like, God, well, all we did was talk about improv, but something's up. You know what I mean? Like I was like, I don't know what's going on, but like this isn't normal. But I remember we were falling in love, and I was working at the escape room, and she didn't, but she was an accountant. Most people who come to escape rooms are businesses. But that's what's so funny about it is that like it's all these coworkers who aren't really friends, but they have to like connect while you're like being paid like $14. You know what I mean? So basically her and her business of like accountants came in and they were doing an escape room, but I had to be like in character, and I worked at an escape room that was really bad. Like things would break all the time. And then I'd have to like come in and be like Agent, Agent Shark's going to handle this, and I'd like just unplug something and like plug it back in or whatever. And I remember that one time when her business came in, it was like so funny because I was like watching her we're in a back room, like a control room, and you're like watching them do all the clues and stuff. And that was a really, really fun experience because I just we both completely obviously acted like we didn't know each other, but I had to be as a full spy. And I got to watch her for an hour, try to solve puzzles with her coworkers. So that was really a blast.
The idea of a bunch of business people in corporate casual just recruited and voluntold to be at this team bonding exercise is too much to think about. Because I can guarantee you that 50% of these people would just so much rather be in their hot, unair conditioned, off car, just eating their cold quesadilla before they have to get back to work.
It's icebreakers for people who don't want to connect.
That's painful.
But you should go to an escape room. They're not scary. It's really
No, the idea, fundamentally, the idea of an escape room is panic attack for me. Just the name. Nope, thank you so much.
I mean,
I wouldn't make it. I am not patient only because I have just raging OCD and I'm also dyslexic and I have ADHD. And so it's everything in my brain is competing to suck the most. And it's so I have learned to hone in on what's the path of least resistance and what's the easiest way for me to do something. And if I lock in on it and I find a solution to something and nobody else will do that solution, I immediately just disconnect from the group. I'm a mess to hang out with.
I just want to say that I only like people who are mentally ill. So you're really in with me.
You know what? We're going to get along great. Are you dating anyone right now?
I am kind of seeing someone right now.
Also, you don't have to talk about it if you don't want to. See what I mean? Immediate fold.
No, it's, you know what it is? I won't talk about it right now, but I'll talk about it in loose terms. I think that it was a really unexpected one, but I really I tried to date one person who wasn't, and I was this is the worst experience I've had in my entire life. I think that the pandemic made me feel really weird about romance and sexuality and everything, where it just made it. I'm realizing that I feel so much calmer even if I'm sad being single, where when someone can have control over my emotions even a little, I feel really scared. And so I'm kind of at the very top of that right now, but I am excited. They're very beautiful, and I'm sure if it lasts for more than what has been 1 month, I'll talk about it more openly. But right now it's really new and precious, and I'm really grateful.
Okay, we have to take one more break, but when we return, I ask Holmes about the live improv show that they created, The Pansexual Bachelor. Do you take a million photos and only let them sit in your phone for ages? Well, what if you could put all of your photos, from random camera roll pictures to high-res wedding albums, onto one gorgeous frame? You can now with a digital frame from Aura. Named the best digital photo frame by Wirecutter, The Strategist, and featured in hundreds of gift guides, Aura frames are guaranteed to make mom or grandma smile. An Aura frame brings all your photos and videos together in one stunning high-resolution display where mom can really enjoy them, aka not a group text or on social media. Aura lets you preload any frame with meaningful memories and a special message that will appear as soon as it's set up. Could not be easier. Plus, you can invite the whole family to add to the frame, letting people contribute their memories from wherever they are. Oh, and did I mention there's free unlimited storage? Right now, Aura has a great deal for Mother's Day. Listeners can save on the perfect gift by visiting auraframes.com. That's AURA frames.com. Use code Elyse to get up to $30 off plus free shipping on their best-selling Carver frames. This deal ends on May 14th, so don't wait. Terms and conditions apply. How many exclamation points do you guys like to use in your emails? Because personally, I average about 3 per sentence. I just don't want anyone to think I'm mad at them. Oh, and I do thank people I'm writing maybe 5 or 6 times throughout the email. I don't know why. It's a really bad habit. And that's why I love and maybe need Grammarly. They can help you keep that tone focused and get all of your work done confidently. Grammarly's bonus writing tips are awesome too. Grammarly is great with spelling and grammar and everything, but it's even better at acting as a coach for you as you learn how to make your writing more concise and direct as a whole. The free version of Grammarly offers instant proofreading with comprehensive spelling, grammar, and punctuation suggestions. They also offer a tone detector, but I personally recommend the premium version, which offers clarity-focused sentence rewrites. The right tone can move any project forward when you get it just right with Grammarly. Go to grammarly.com/tone to download and learn more about Grammarly's premium advanced tone suggestions. That's GRAMMARLY.com/tone. Okay, so I know that you said during quarantine it kind of affected like how you see yourself and your sexuality. Did you think of the pansexual bachelor during quarantine? Or like how did you come up with that idea for the show?
I do think that I missed improv so much, and I was like, how do I get people to come to an improv show? So that's why I did the pansexual bachelor. Basically what I did is like, it was like a structured improv show. So like everything was improvised, but we would just have the structures, and my producer, Anna Weiss, was amazing. So we would like plan out what the group date and the one-on-one would be, but we wouldn't plan any conversation or whatever. So then it ended up like getting like these amazing improvisers more recognition in the scene because people didn't realize they were going to an improv show. So that show, what I did was that I acted as myself, but all of the contestants, I asked all improvisers who I know and love to be a character. So that was like a blast.
Do you think that some of your ADHD and anxiety play into your comedy? Like, do you think that that makes you funnier? Do you think it helps?
Yes. Oh my God, big time. I think both of them do, because I think that my anxiety, I don't know. I try to like think of ways my anxiety helps me to love her. That's like what my therapist says to me. You know what I mean? Like when you have a therapist for long enough, she basically starts like just doing the movie inside out to you. Like I'll like leave a session. I'm like, we just talked about like a Pixar film.
Yeah.
Like what is going on anymore? I think my ADD for sure is the only reason I can be a performer. I think my anxiety, I talk about it within like stand up and stuff, but I think my ADD is what, because you have like hyper focus.
Yeah.
And so for me, like I get hyper focused when I really like something or when it's really interesting or when I have to do something. So for me, pressure is like really incredible and amazing. And I thrive under pressure where like when there isn't pressure, I kind of struggle. So now that I understand about ADD, I've realized that like I'll create those situations. So like to clean my house, I'll like invite someone over once a week, you know? So then it's like, oh, they're coming over, so I have to pick up.
That is fascinating. I am the complete opposite.
Really?
Oh my God. Yeah. Pressure to me is like, I create the best when I have the space. It's like the moment I feel like I have this like deadline. Deadlines are literally my worst nightmare. I get so in my head that I would rather quit what I'm doing that is like I owe something to someone than be like, I just can't do it. It's so nerve-wracking.
It's funny because my mom, like, she'd be annoyed if she heard, but she definitely has, I think, undiagnosed of a few of these similar things. And I think that she'll always be like, I don't know how you do all of this stuff. Like I would feel sick. And I'm like, oh, that's so silly. I feel sick every day.
Yeah. No, I do feel sick.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, you're misunderstanding. Like I absolutely feel sick before I perform every time. But I think that like once I started realizing that that is just what my body will feel like and that it will feel better later. It's like, I think I struggle more with deadlines from other people, but if I make the deadline for myself, it makes me sit down and write or things like, so like if you really have thought out a show or a movie idea really well, that takes a really long time, like of thinking. And I just want to make sure and give as much time to long-term projects as I do with short-term validation. And that's hard having ADD.
I could not relate to this anymore. It's like one of the reasons why I've really struggled to grow my YouTube channel. I could spend a week or a month editing a YouTube video, but with a TikTok, it takes me like 30 minutes to film and about 3 hours to edit, and I can post it in a day. And every time I decide to focus on a long-term project that's definitely not going to get done in a day or maybe not even a month, and that instant like gratification is like almost destroying my ability to create anything longer than 3 minutes. And so to hear Holmes talk about this and how she says she likes to dedicate as much time to short-term projects as she does to long-term projects, that was a game changer for me. And it was really inspiring and also really challenging. Oh yeah. The long-term projects are hard too because you can't talk about them. And also like they take so much energy that you feel like you should be able to create something quick after the end of the day. But you're like, I've actually just spent my whole day doing this. And yeah, there's so many feelings that go into it. So I would love to talk to you more about it, like offline too, being like, help me balance this. I'm struggling. Oh.
No. And I feel like you can remind me of like, I have so many like videos on my phone that are just me talking and stuff that I'm like, oh, this is really good or whatever. And in my head, I have such this fear of being myself online. So I love that you really inspire me to like, remember that like people, you can do that as well. So yeah.
Yay, we did it. Thank you so much for listening to my conversation with Holmes. I'm so excited to watch her rom-com when it's finished. Also, make sure you catch Holmes in Welcome to Flatch live on Fox or stream it on Hulu. If you like Funny 'Cause It's True, maybe rate and review us. I don't know. It really helps. Okay, see you next time. Bye. There's more Funny 'Cause It's True with Lemonada Premium. You'll get access to all of Lemonada's premium content, including extras from my interview with Holmes, coming out this Friday. Subscribe now in Apple Podcasts. Funny 'Cause It's True is a Lemonada Media and Powder Keg production. The show is produced by Claire Jones, Zoe Dennis, and Linnea Tony. Our associate producer is Tiffany Bowie. Rachel Neal is our senior director of new content, and our VP of weekly production is Steve Nelson. Executive producers are Stephanie Whittles-Wax, Jessica Cordova-Kramer, Paul Feig, Laura Fisher, Kesla Childers, and me, Elyse Myers. This show is mixed by Johnny Vince Evans, additional help from Noah Smith and Ivan Kraev. Our theme song music was written by me and scored by Xander Singh. Follow Funny 'Cause It's True wherever you get your podcasts, or listen ad-free on Amazon Music with your Prime membership. Boo-doo-doo-doo-boom-doo.
Hi, my name is Kelsey McKinney, and I'm the host of Normal Gossip, a show that is now back for its 4th season with Radiotopia. Normal Gossip is a show about the petty, the ridiculous, and the strange stories that surround us in the world, and the way that we share those stories with each other. In the top half of the show, Normal Gossip investigates how gossip functions in the world, and how we use it for good, for evil, and for neutral. The stories are sent in by listeners, anonymized, and retold to a guest who is asked to weigh in on the actions, beliefs, and decisions made by the people in the stories. We have a great time on this show, and if you love mess, please come join us.
If you love Lemonada content, a quick, easy, and free way to help us keep our shows running is to fill out our anonymous listener survey. By just answering a few questions, you can help us find new brands to connect with and also share feedback about show content you'd like to see across the network. And even better, once you've completed the survey, you can enter for a chance to win a $100 Visa gift card. The survey is short and sweet and will help us play ads you don't want to skip and also keep bringing you content you love. Just go to lemonadamedia.com/survey. Survey. Survey. Survey.